This is the teaching lesson for 7.4. The learning target for this lesson is to be able to solve and write multiplication equations. Okay? We know that an equation is something that has an equal sign, has expressions on each side, and they have to equal, balance out. Okay? So, multiplication equations, something times. I have a couple samples up here, like it's 3 times x equals 15, 2 times x equals 17, 8 equals 4 times x, 2.25 times n equals 6.75. So these are all multiplication equations, okay? They're an equation because they have an equal sign, and because they're algebraic because they have a variable. So we need to solve for the variable. So this is going to be solving over here. I'll solve these. I do have a word problem that we will write the equation and then we'll solve it. Okay? Inverse operation. Review. It means to undo the other. Undo. What was my exact word? Undo each other. Yeah, that's right. Undo each other. Sounds kind of funny. What I think about inverse operations is you do the opposite. If it's an addition equation, you subtract to get rid of it. If it's a subtraction, you add to get rid of it. If it's a multiplication, you divide to get rid of it. So this is what I mean. I have 3 times x equals 15. I know this seems really basic, but I want you to do this. I want you to circle the variable. That's what I want to solve for. I want to figure out what x is. And the way I do it is I look what's happening to x. 3 times x. So the way I get rid of this is I divide it by 3. And then I divide this by 3. I have to do the same operation with the same number to both sides of the equals. Because it's a balance. It's a balance. If I divide this by 3, I have to divide this by 3. Because it has to stay balanced. Okay? So, 3 divided by 3 is 1, or just x. Okay? 15 divided by 3 is 5. So I just solved for x. X is 5. Now, I want to check it by putting 5 up here. 3 times 5 equals 15. Is that a true statement? That is a true statement. So, x is 5. X is 5. We did it. Okay, let's go over here. I want to find just the variable. I want to find out what x is. What's happening to x? It's being multiplied by 4. I got to do the inverse, not multiply. I divide. Divide this by 4, and then I do the same thing to the other side. And then I solve. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 4 divided by 4 is 1. X. So, I think x is 2. Let's put it in there. 4x equals 8. I'm going to change this x to be 2. 4 times 2 is 8? It is. So we're good. Okay? Here we go. My variable is x. Want to get it all by itself? What's happening to it is it's being multiplied by 2. So I got to divide it by 2, and I divide that by 2. Okay? You know, I'm going to make this a little easier for me. Let's make that 14. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so it leaves me with x equals 14 divided by 2 is 7. So then I put 7 up here. 2 times 7 equals 14, and that is correct. Okay? You can do this with fractions, you can do it with decimals, you can do it with anything. Look at this one over here. I have a decimal. I still have a variable. The variable is n. I want to get it all by itself. 2.25 times n. I'm going to divide this by 2.25, and then I'm going to divide this by 2.25. When I do that, this becomes 1, or just n, equals. Now, when I have decimals like this, I'm going to do it on my calculator. 6.75 divided by 2.25, and it comes out even as 3. So n equals 3. I can check it though. 2.25 times 3, when I times that, it equals 6.75, which is what I need. So n is 3. Okay? So when it's multiplied by something, you do the inverse operation, you divide it. You got to divide each side by the same. Okay, let's go over here. Right there. Okay, this is a word problem. It's about Ben and Simon. They walked 680 miles to the South Pole. So they're starting here, and they go all the way to the South Pole, 680 miles. It's a long way. Now, it took them 58 days. That's not 58, but this is each a day. So 58 days to walk from here to here. Now, it says, write and solve a multiplication equation for how many miles they walked each day. Multiplication equation. So something times something. I'm going to say 58 days, we'll call it miles, times miles each day is going to get me the total, which I know is 680. All right, there you go. I just wrote a multiplication equation to help me solve this. How many miles they walked each day. 58 days times some amount of miles, I don't know what it is yet, equals 680. So now, circle my variable, and it's 58 times m. So I want to divide by 58 and divide by 58. So this is going to give me m equals, nice little calculator. I could do this by hand, but I want to do it here. Make it a little quicker. 680 divided by 58 equals, wait a minute, that does not seem right. Oh, it says about. Okay. What I get here is 11.724. And it says in the problem in the book, it said about how many miles. So I'm going to take this to the closest mile. I look here, this is a 7, so it's going to bump up to 12. Okay? So it's about 12 miles a day. And the way I can kind of check this to make sure it's pretty accurate, if I do this is 12, 58 times 12, let's see what that is. 16 to 10, 11, add my 0, 8, 5, 0, 9, 690, which is pretty close to 680. It's not exact because it had a decimal, I just rounded it up. Okay? But I was able to write the equation, and I used it to figure out about how many days they walked each day. So, if you have a multiplication equation, the way to get the variable by itself alone is to divide each side by the number that's being multiplied to the variable. Okay? All right, go ahead and watch the guided practice, fill out the sheet, and see what you can do. Ask questions if you have any.